Hello, salam, shalom, namaste, sat sri akal, aloha, hola, ciao, bonjour, and buna. It's really, really good to be back with you, and I'm sure you will be very happy you have joined us again because I have a very special guest, Alisa Kay. And you know what? We're going to talk about how to do marketing in these kinds of uncertain, crazy times. And I'm so excited for having this conversation with you. Welcome.
Hello, привет, добрый день. Just to add to your list of hellos in different languages. So
Awesome.
happy to be here.
Awesome, awesome. And I'll just have you jump in directly and tell us more about who you are and what you do.
Sure. Thank you so much for having me on. My name is Alisa Kay. I am a business coach and strategist. I help service providers and coaches become fully booked experts. So essentially, I use my magic of copywriting and strategy and add a little bit of mindset, juju, and we make more money, which is great.
I love it. That is so amazing. And yeah, that is like really amazing. And I can definitely see that you are brilliant at what you do. Even when I just first became aware of your presence in my world, looking at your Facebook profile, your website, I could see your brilliance shining through all of that. So tell me more, like when you think about this crazy uncertain time that we're in, and there's so many other reasons why we can be in crazy uncertain times, what is like a big problem that people can face in the context of being able to market effectively?
Well, I think we need to address the big blue and yellow elephant in the room in that at the time of this recording, Samia and I are currently watching the news because Ukraine's been, invaded by Russia. And there are, there are many other terrible things happening in the world. We can look at it's Canada and, the displacement of people there. We can look at the Middle East, which is always a hot zone and a hot topic. Rather selfishly, I want to talk about Ukraine because I'm Ukrainian. So for me, this is sort of a divine timing episode, I think, to talk about this because we were supposed to be talking about something completely different. And maybe in a few weeks' time, in a few months' time, I can come back and talk to you guys about messaging and marketing and copywriting. But for today's topic, it's such a difficult thing for me to speak about because my parents are currently on the other side of the border waiting to get out. And we can talk about privilege and we can talk about all of the different nations that, haven't necessarily had this much publicity as Ukraine has. I think that's a valid point. And I think for your listeners who are feeling a certain type of way about that, I just want to say that as a Ukrainian, I understand it. I understand your frustration and I understand your grief and I understand your anger. And I also really, really appreciate you listening to this and you resharing and reposting and you, Sammy, are giving me a platform to talk about this because it is such a big topic. So that now that big elephant is out of the room, it gives a bit of context for this conversation. Because just like, a lot of people who face conflicting situations, I also have Russian family, right? And I think when we have these opposing sides, right? And when we have these opposing narratives happening, and when we have leadership springing forth, to be a small business owner is so difficult because you're like, do I get political? Do I voice my support? Do I donate silently? Do I ignore this? Do I carry on with my launch? And if you're sat at home asking yourself these questions, I think this is the right questions to be asking of yourself because no one knows how to act in these times. There isn't a playbook for how do you market during a time of potential World War III.
Yeah, our worldwide pandemic that's simultaneously ongoing for that matter. So
Right.
it's crazy times indeed.
It's insanity. I literally can't believe that I can't believe I'm talking to my mom who's sleeping in a basement on the floor. This is insanity. For me, watching all of this unfold is such a difficult decision because I was supposed to be doing a launch when this was happening. And I think there is a question that you have to ask yourself. It's what do I care about? And how do I want to use my business? Because here's the thing. If you don't want to get political, if you don't want to support causes, if you don't want to shout from the rooftops about it, I see it as both ways. It's in your right as an independent person who has the freedom of speech wherever you are. Hopefully you have the freedom of speech to exercise your right and to use your business for whichever means you want to. Now, are you going to be seen a certain way? Can I say the A word? Are you going to be seen as an asshole by the rest of your audience if you don't comment on stuff? Probably. You'll probably lose people if you're not actively explaining to your audience what your stance is on certain things. Even if it's, hey guys, I'm processing this because of X, Y, and Z. I'm seeing the news. It's going to be business as usual. That's better, in my opinion, than just ignoring it and burying your head in the sand and being like, pay for my money manifestation course or buy my SEO thing or, clear your chakras and let's pray. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, no, it's super, super important to put things in context. And what you were sharing also made me think about how, especially from a small business perspective, it um, it's like we are our best marketing strategies and our best bet for being successful as business people is really all about finding our tribe and creating a community of supporters and fans for our products and services, and building genuine relationships with our clients and our customers and our prospective clients and customers. And for us to do that, it's really, really important that we're really authentic in and human in the way that we present ourselves and the way that we are, in every aspect of our life. And so when there is an issue of concern, it's like something that's weighing heavy on my mind. It's like probably the people that I want to work with, it's something that's on their mind too, and something that they care about as well. And so, yeah, like you said, let's just get this pink elephant or whatever is out there. Just just acknowledge it at the very least. And if there's something we can do to address it, why not?
Yeah, and I think here's the thing. For most people, they buy based on emotions. So as a strategist, I can tell you this for sure that, you know, think about the last thing that the last big ticket item that you bought. Did you make a pros and cons list? Maybe in your head, did you, pull up a spreadsheet and, make all, no, you were like, oh my God, I really need that because the person I resonate with. Oh my God, I need to buy that retreat because it's going to be amazing. It looks so cool. It looks so great. And if you are not necessarily tapping into the emotional state of your client, of your ideal soulmate client, and you're not talking about the things that actually matter to that ideal client, and we're just saying, I'm talking about the business specific, the business to business world, right?
Yeah.
Just buy my stuff, right? Is not a good enough argument anymore. We have to look at it differently. We have to look at it like we're a human to human business.
Mm-hmm.
Humans want to have conversations. And
Yeah.
in my humble opinion, it's not enough to just be selling your stuff and ignoring the big issues of the day. It's not
Right.
enough.
That's right. I agree with you. And actually, there's even a lot of research that shows that when you take a stance on an important issue of the day, you will lose some people, but you will also have a lot more people who will choose to support you and support you with more commitment and with more love than if you don't, than if you try to just stay neutral. In fact, this is something that even the big businesses, the big corporations have started to realize that, they there are issues where they need to make their stance clear because their clients want to know where they stand. Like we don't want to spend our money with businesses that are acting out of alignment with our values. And for us to make sure we're spending with businesses that are in alignment with our values, we need to know what their values are. So if they're not speaking up about their values, that's actually also saying something.
Yeah, and
And yeah.
the thing that gets my goat as well is that every single small business owner I know always talks about, make a change, make a stand. I created this business because I was tired of being the 9 to 5, cubicle zombie. And here we are living in the best time ever for you to actually make a change. For
Mm,
you to actually make, I'm this ironic. I'm looking at your background now and it says make a change, fun and easy, right? And like that's the hot topic of the day is that, well, if you have been talking about making changes, if you've been talking about the fact that, I love social causes. I love to support my fellow women. I love to support my fellow, Black Lives Matter. I love to support my fellow whoever it is, and you're not doing anything about it, I want you to act louder. I want you to use your platform. Even if you have one other person in your audience and your mom, that's still one more person that you can impact. And the reality is this is the 21st century.
yeah.
We have the internet at our fingertips. You can do so much with the platform that you have.
True, true. So far, what I've heard from you is when we are in crazy
I
uncertain
rant.
times, acknowledge the pink elephant in the room and be authentic, share your values, share what actually concerns you, and do what you can to take a stand around that. Can you give me an example of how you are doing that right now in your business?
Absolutely. We're creating a Act Louder for Ukraine bundle. Honestly, this came about. This came about because I was feeling really helpless and I didn't know how I could contribute. I didn't know what I could do to help my friends, in Ukraine, and I didn't know how to help those that are less fortunate than me. Like, let me level with you. My business makes enough money. I donate to charity. Like, my life is good. I'm sitting at home and I'm not being bombed. My friends, on the other hand, who don't have a business, who are just ordinary normal people, they don't have the luxuries that I have. They don't have a beautiful, brown passport that can get me into any country I want. Um, they don't have that privilege. So for me, I really wanted to create something that was going to be, number one, verified. So here is my framework. Verify who your sources are, because you know I've been seeing a bunch of people speak up about, this specific issue that is clearly, close to me. And I always want everyone to go to the source. So like, instead of me, like I'm thinking about like the Black Lives Matter protest specifically. And when that was happening, I was really looking to those Black entrepreneurs who I really admired and really loved and really, wanted to invest in. And I was listening to them talk about the things that matter. So if there is an issue, whether it's, Ukraine or COVID or BLM or anything else in the world, look for those people who are actually authentically from that place and ask yourself, if that person isn't from that place, what's their emotional connection to the place that they're talking about or to the cause that they're talking about? Because not to sound cynical, but a lot of the people that I've been seeing online, I question the motives. I question the opt-in forms. I question the authenticity of what they're trying to do. And I think that's such a big, big part of marketing in these times and aligning yourself with the voices that are genuinely trying to help versus aligning with yourself with the voices who are trying to gain popularity over a matter that isn't actually authentic or close to them. Because in my opinion, with a small audience, like I have a small audience, I'm not a million, dollar, whatever. I'm not at seven figures yet, right? With my small audience, we've been able to achieve something so great over the last 24 hours that like I tear up. I don't want to cry on your podcast. So I'm going to try my best not to. But I've been like, I'm not a very emotional person, I would say. But the overwhelming amount of support and people resharing and people willing to contribute and people willing to listen with my small audience is incredible, right? And I think that if we highlight more of those small voices in other important topics, that's where real change can happen.
Yes, you're so right. And you made me think about like so many, especially in the context of big corporations, but I've seen smaller businesses ready to do this too, where they see something's like hot and in terms of like a topic, and then they try to sort of, and they realize that, oh my gosh, like they're feeling a pressure to say something about it, and so then they will like say something about it, but it's not authentic. You can tell that they're saying what they believe is a politically correct thing to say, because if you actually look back in into their actions in the past, in terms of things that they have actually done and contributed to or not, um, the thing is, like it doesn't sync, it doesn't match. And there's like so much like for years actually now we have been seeing so much greenwashing where businesses are claiming to be environmentally friendly, and it's like you just scratch a tiny bit of their marketing and look and say what's actually eco-friendly about your product or service, and it's like the most ridiculous things. It's like there's nothing, absolutely nothing. They're just making stuff up. And the same thing with like pink washing with support breast cancer survivors movement. There's so many businesses that are actually like actively putting chemicals and stuff in their products that are known to be linked to cause breast cancer. And then they're doing these campaigns where they're like, oh, we're supporting breast cancer survivors and buy our products, and we'll donate to research for finding cures for breast cancer. And, things like that. And it's just like, no.
One of my favorite ever, like to let's lighten this a bit because this is like doom and gloom. I get it. I understand. I 100% agree with you. One of my most favorite TV shows ever is a show called Boston Legal. I don't know whether you've ever watched it, but I was obsessed with it. And there is a really great speech, and I would encourage every single person who's listening to this, if you take one thing away from it is number one, check out my bundle. Always market yourself first. And number two, I want you to have a look at Alan Shaw's pharmaceutical speech. It is magical because I think it shows it's a great acting, number one, but number two, it shows that, the big companies, the big dogs are always looking out for their own interest. That, it's like when the tobacco companies were sponsoring the protest against tobacco companies because it was good marketing for the tobacco companies. We had like, it's been going on for years. So it's not necessarily surprising. I think if you follow, I don't know, let's call it, like, I'm going to make up a framework here, but let's follow me here, right? Think about it in this term, act, right? Authenticity. Are the people that you're talking to authentically connected to the issue? Do they actually know what they're talking about? Then I would say customers. What are you going to say to your customers? Do you have customers who are currently in the situation that you're concerned about? And then I would say, the last and probably most important thing is timing. Is it a time sensitive issue? Are you going to sit for 3-4 weeks on your thoughts, or are you going to lead? Because in times of crisis, you have a choice. You can either stay silent, stay hidden in your cave of solitude, or you can use the timing of the now and do something, whether it's calling your MP or your, whatever representative and campaigning for change in your personal life, whether it's using your social media and reposting helpful information. Like that also counts. Information, look at how this Ukraine crisis has grown through the informative grapevine of all of the people. Like
That's
time is so important, and the time is now for you to take a stand and actually, do
yes.
something with the platform that you're creating. Otherwise, what's the point?
Hmm. Absolutely right. And again, you're being such a great model of what you're talking about because as you mentioned earlier, you actually had a launch that and you've put it on hold because this is a time sensitive issue. We can't afford to wait for another 3-4 weeks once our launch is done and then come out with some kind of something else to do for Ukraine. It's like the need is right now. And so, like, yeah, yeah.
It's mad. It's mad because, I sat in my sofa yesterday and I spoke to my mom, I spoke to my grandmother. My grandmother was crying. She couldn't talk to me. And I looked at this whole situation and I thought to myself, a week ago, I cared so much about the 20K launch, the 50K launch, the 100K launch, the big 6-figure launch. Like that was my vision board. It was everything. If I don't make another dollar for the rest of my life, it's fine. I just really want to see my family. And I think that's such a human like feeling to feel, because all of us know that money creates freedom. All of us know that marketing is the number one thing that we as business owners need to be focused on. Like my personal needs might be not to make money ever again. My business needs to make money. Otherwise I have no business. And I think in these times, it's about finding the sweet spot, about what are your means? What can you do? What can you do right now with what you have? If you are sat there and you're like, I am broke AF, I don't have a dollar to my name, I need to make rent, I need to do this, and no judgment from me, we've all been there, right? Scrappy entrepreneurial phase. Great. No one's asking you to go on campaign and give up your business and stop marketing. It's in your right and it's in your best interest to go out there and share your message and share your voice. If you're, like me and you're safe and comfortable and you can afford to donate something, do something, I would ask you to think of this. And this is such a like emotional plea for me, who has never, like, I'm a strategist. I talk about copywriting. In fact, one of my biggest, like best performing ads is like, stop being vulnerable in your copy. You don't need to do it. But like, let me just tap into this for a second. I want you to think about like, what if it was your family? What if it was your people? And I think when we start to understand on a human to human level, I want you to react from that place. And I want you to make decisions in your business from that place, asking yourself if it's someone you know, or if it's, your kid's teacher, your neighbor, your parents, your whoever, how would you act in this situation? And I think asking yourself that guiding question generally leads to good decision making as a business owner.
I agree with you. And also, like, for me, like from a spiritual place, I really believe that, money is just a tool anyway. It's never really the goal in itself. Like people might think, oh, it's my goal to make X amount of money, but it's not really it because you can't eat your money, you won't like sleep on your money, or you can't breathe your money, you know.
Well,
And
it depends on how you like to how do you like to lead your life. I always joke that eventually when I have a private island, I will have a bed that is made out of gold so that I can actually sleep on money. But I do hear
uh,
you, you know?
but yeah, you know, but still, I mean, look, the thing is like if you don't have peace of heart, peace of mind,
Yeah, of
even if
course.
you have a bed of gold, you're not going to get any sleep, you know. So
Very
you
true.
don't, so it's like the money is just a tool. It's to help you get the things you think will help you to get what you really want. And when you really dig down and get to the bottom of it, pretty much what you really, really want is you want to be happy, you want to be peaceful, you want to be free, you want to feel like you have a sense of power and control over your own life. You're, you know, that you have the freedom to make your own decisions and choices, you know. And so this is what we're all working for. And when we focus on that, then, you know, you're like, okay, what is the very best way for me right now in this situation to create more freedom, more peace, more happiness, not just for myself, but also for everyone around me, because we're all connected. We're all, you know, interdependent. And you know, so for sure, I truly believe this, and I've experienced this with my life. And as you are modeling so beautifully right now, you know, when you think about how to create this kind of win-win situation, the money just flows in. The money
Yeah,
will just
definitely.
flow in because you're helping yourself and you're helping other people, and they want to help you too and support you too, because we don't just have a need to love, we also have, right, we don't just have a need to be loved, we also have a need to love. We don't just need to be taken care of, we also have a need to take care of others and participate in our communities, in our societies. And you know, and so when you
100%.
align yourself with with a cause and with good intention, you know, you come up with these ideas that are truly going to be beneficial for everyone involved, including yourself. I mean, they produce the best results.
100,000 million gazillion percent. I think that the most interesting thing about that is that, yes, on a practical level, we know that to be true, right? Like money doesn't, money talks for sure, but money doesn't make you happy. And, I know so many rich, wealthy, like filthy rich people who sneeze money, right? And they are some of the unhappiest, saddest individuals because they just don't have that fulfillment. And, when you start earning a certain amount of money and you recognize that, oh, this is not going to make me happy, what now? There's like a void. And I think so many people, particularly in our business community, talk about hitting a big money goals and then realizing, oh, that doesn't make me more lovable, it doesn't make me worthier, it doesn't make me happy, it doesn't make me spiritually fulfilled. And I think that, for me, being a great leader and making changes in the world means tapping into my mindset routine that is outside of money making, is really looking after my mental health, and is really acting from a place of power and opportunity and abundance versus acting from a place of fear, scarcity, and I don't even know what like I can't even sum up my state of mind on Thursday, but whatever that was, right? Like deep, deep, deep despair. And I think that, when we apply love and peace, and I see so many people saying like, I'm not going to comment on this, but I'm going to pray. We don't need your prayers. We need your actions. Like as much as I've been praying too, don't get me wrong. Praying helps for sure. It's I appreciate the sentiment, but I think at this point in time, when we're having a spiritual conversation, we just have to acknowledge that your prayers are not necessarily going to help the people that need them the most. I appreciate the sentiment, but please don't post that. Like, don't market yourself that way. If you want to pray privately, please do. But don't put up a post that says I'm praying for you. It doesn't help, and it doesn't create the type of leadership that I think you want.
Yeah, I for sure it makes me think about, what do we believe is the purpose and point of prayer? And if our prayer is not aligning with our actions, if our prayer is not having an impact on our actions, then what is the point? You know, it's like pray and do something about what you're praying for in terms of doing what you can do to help the
Yeah.
situation. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
not.
definitely. It's not, this is not like I don't know, a manifesto against prayer. Absolutely not. It's such a deep and meaningful practice for so many people. I just want to ask you guys who are listening to this, if you are praying and that's your mode of taking a stance,
Mm,
I want you to ask yourself, like, is that really enough? Is that really, is that really where you want to stop your action? Because
right.
I think talking about marketing, like, and I just see so many of these posts that say, I'm praying, I'm sending love, I'm doing this. And I want people to stop talking and start acting. Like,
Mm,
we've done all the talking in the world. You know, you know what I mean?
yeah.
What are the actual actionable, tangible things? And for me, using prayer and using other mindset tools, whether it's, whether it's a spiritual practice like prayer or whether it's something like tapping, which I love, EFT
Yeah.
tapping, right?
Nice.
I feel like those modalities
Mhm.
are really great at clearing your mind, at making you see things clearly, at really helping you detach from the situation and really see, like, what are the next steps? Where am I leading this thing? Where am I being led to? And, for me, when I had this thought in the shower, this is like TMI, but we're going to go there. Like, I tapped before I went into the shower, and then I was like, I'm going to wash my hair. And then I was like having this amazing, like, I don't know, just for the first time in days, I felt like a little bit of a sense of relief. And I feel like it was a very sort of spiritual idea that came to me. It was a very spiritual, like, guiding voice that was like, you can do something. You don't have to feel like this.
Yes. Yes, I so agree with you. And again, it's what you're describing is what I was talking about earlier in terms of when when you, instead of thinking from the perspective of money, 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 instead you think about how do I create more peace, more freedom, more, more goodness for everyone. The ideas that come up, the win-win solutions that come up, like they really, I mean, that's your spirit guiding you, and you follow that guidance. And I have yet to have an experience where following the guidance of my spirit has led me astray.
100%. And I think, that's what makes it fun. Whenever I listen to my intuition, and here's a fun story. This might tickle your listeners. I was supposed to be on a retreat in Disneyland, living my best life on last week, Thursday, Friday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And my intuition was like, you can't go. And I can't tell you why. But I ended up being here with my little sister in this situation where, I can support my family and I can try and do something for good. Whereas if I was in America right now and, I was far away and I was stressing and there's a time difference, and like, your intuition very, very, very rarely lies to you. And I feel like if we're having this conversation about marketing in uncertain times, you in your heart, if you quieten your mind, if you take a deep breath, if you, pull out a tool from your toolbox, whether it's tapping, meditation, a prayer, whether it's, going for a walk, I don't really, it doesn't particularly matter what it is that you do that gets you into that place of centeredness, that place of calm. That's where the magic happens. That's where you make those right decisions for you and for your audience.
Yes. Oh, for sure, for sure. That is, I think, the most valuable tip that, or not tip, but like strategy, life wisdom that we can share with anyone right now. in terms of how to market most effectively, how to make change most effectively, is follow the guidance of your heart, your spiritual heart, your spirit, your soul, and allow that to lead you to success. So on that note, do you have any last words that you want to share with us for right now, for today?
Yeah, I do actually. And I think it's this. If you are being or if you're feeling triggered by any of these events, whatever it may be, if you feel your ancestry coming through, if you feel a sense of injustice, a sense of longing to help, I want you to know that there is always something that you can do. If I, in 24 hours, can gather 50 plus women and men to contribute to a bundle, tag their friends and get people with huge audiences, with tiny audiences to come and share their gifts with me, I promise to you that you could do something, whether it's on a massive level or on a tiny level. And we live in this beautiful society where you can actually make a difference. It's not just empty promises and empty words. I'm trying to make my difference through my Act Louder for Ukraine bundle, and I would love for you to support that if it feels aligned. And if it doesn't feel aligned, that's totally fine too. I want you to know that whatever you're being led to, however you want to support the causes that matter to you, is the right thing. There is no wrong answer because there is no playbook.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that, Elisa. I really, really appreciate your coming on and sharing all this with us. And yeah, uh, thank you so much. I just love you so much. And for sure, everyone, please make sure you check the show notes because we're going to post that link for the Support Ukraine bundle in the show notes. You can click on it, take what action you can with regards to it. But then also, please, please spread the word, share the post with your friends and family, and let's do what we can. And if there's any other kind of help and support you need that you think Alyssa can give you now or later, connect with her for that too.
Yeah, absolutely. And I will say this, that Samia has very kindly said that she will donate a book to us, which is absolutely great. So you get more of her magic. I'm donating a really great messaging and content writing program that is universally loved. So I know that you will love it too. And underneath the show notes, you'll see that there are going to be two links. One of them is the bundle link, and you can choose to donate that or not. And then there's going to be another link that is like supporting specific causes that we've verified, that we know are legit, that we know are actually going to the victims. So check either one of those out and really just stay loving, stay safe, and remember how lucky you are.